It was a snowy evening at the North Pole, and Santa's reindeer were bustling with excitement. Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, and Vixen huddled together near the stables, chatting about the big day ahead. "We need to stay in tip-top shape for Christmas Eve," Dasher exclaimed, stretching his legs. The other reindeer nodded in agreement. Santa's reindeer were no ordinary animals. They had a special bond with the Arctic environment that made them strong and resilient. But it wasn't magic alone that kept them healthy. It was their daily habits and natural adaptations. Santa's chief elf, Sparkle, was in charge of their wellness routine, and she had big plans for the reindeer this season. "Good morning, team," Sparkle announced as she entered the stable with buckets of fresh lichen. Lichen was a favorite treat for the reindeer, packed with the nutrients they needed to stay strong. "Eat up, this will give you energy for today's training," she said, placing the buckets in front of each reindeer. Reindeer thrive on a diet of lichen, moss, and other Arctic plants. These foods help them stay energized and warm during cold winters. "This lichen tastes amazing," Prancer said, munching happily. "It's like having dessert for breakfast." After breakfast, Sparkle checked the reindeer's fur coats to make sure they were thick and warm. Reindeer have 2 layers of fur, a dense undercoat for insulation and a longer outer layer that sheds snow and water. "Your coats are looking great, Dasher," Sparkle said, brushing his fur. "You'll be ready for anything the North Pole throws at you." "We're like walking blankets," Vixen joked, fluffing her fur. The reindeer's special fur not only kept them warm, but also helped them float when crossing icy rivers. It was just one of the many ways they adapted to their snowy home. "Time for antler checkups," Sparkle announced. Every year, the reindeer grew new antlers, which they used to dig through snow for food and defend themselves. Antlers were also a source of pride for the team. "Mine are the shiniest this year," Comet boasted, holding his head high. Sparkle examined each antler carefully. "Antlers are like crowns," she explained. "They show how healthy you are. Make sure to keep them strong by eating your greens." The reindeer laughed, knowing Sparkle's advice always kept them at their best. "All right, team, let's get moving," Sparkle said, leading the reindeer outside. It was time for their daily workout. The reindeer loved these sessions, which kept them agile and strong. "Follow me," Sparkle called, demonstrating reindeer jumps by leaping over snowdrifts. The reindeer mimicked her movements, their hooves kicking up snow. "Kids at home, join in," Sparkle encouraged. "Try jumping like a reindeer or running in place like you're pulling Santa's sleigh." The reindeer cheered as they imagined children all over the world joining their workout. Glad of victory by the reindeer, Sparkle returned to her own homestead and switched on lights to light her home. Sparkle's hooves landed softly in the snow as she dashed ahead, her powerful legs propelling her forward with grace. The other reindeer followed suit, moving in perfect synchronization, each leap bringing them higher into the crisp, cold air. With it, the reindeer raced across the snow-covered ground, their muscles working in harmony. With every step, their hooves left behind tracks that crisscrossed the landscape, creating a map of their speedy journey. "Can you keep up?" Sparkle teased, glancing back at the other reindeer. "Let's see if the kids at home can run as fast as us. Ready, set, go." She counted down, and with that, the reindeer dashed forward, their sleek bodies moving like lightning. As they ran, the reindeer practiced their agility, twisting and turning as they weaved between tall, frosty trees. Sparkle made it look easy, jumping over small logs and gliding effortlessly through the snow. "All right, everyone," Sparkle said as the group slowed down. "Now let's practice flying." She spread her legs wide and leapt into the air. "Fly like a reindeer, arms stretched out like wings." One by one, the reindeer followed Sparkle's lead, leaping into the air. Their hooves momentarily left the ground, their bodies floating for a split second before landing softly back on the snowy surface. "Great job!" Sparkle cheered. "You all have the best moves. Kids at home, can you make your own reindeer leap? Show us what you've got." The reindeer caught their breath and stood in a circle, puffing clouds of frosty air into the sky. "That was amazing," said Dasher, his eyes shining with excitement. "Let's do one more challenge." Sparkle nodded, smiling. "The final part of our workout is the sleigh pull. We'll each take turns pretending we're pulling Santa's sleigh through the clouds." The reindeer took their positions, crouching low to the ground as though they were about to start a race. Then, with all their strength, they imagined themselves hauling Santa's sleigh across the snowy skies. Sparkle led the group, her legs strong and determined. "Pull, pull, pull," she called. The other reindeer grunted and pushed forward, their hooves digging into the snow, pretending to haul the heaviest sleigh in the world. "All right, team, you've all done great," Sparkle said, a proud smile on her face. "Now, time for some cool-down stretches." The reindeer leaned forward to stretch their long, graceful necks, reaching their antlers toward the snow. "Thanks for joining us today, kids," Sparkle said, turning to face the children watching from home. "Keep practicing your reindeer workouts, and maybe one day you'll be ready to pull Santa's sleigh too." With a final wave, Sparkle led the reindeer back to their cozy stable, where they enjoyed a well-deserved rest. Their workout was complete, but they knew there would be many more adventures ahead. After all, the holiday season was just around the corner. The next morning, after a quick stretch, Sparkle called the reindeer together. "Time to fuel up," she said. "We need all the energy we can get for today's big adventure." The reindeer gathered around a large feeding station where piles of fresh green grass, juicy berries, and crunchy carrots awaited them. "Reindeer need to eat a lot of nutritious food to stay strong," Sparkle explained. "We need the right mix of food to keep our energy high and our hooves strong." The reindeer munched happily, knowing that every bite would prepare them for the exciting tasks ahead. After a hearty meal, they were ready for anything, including a special challenge Sparkle had planned. "Who's ready for a challenge?" Sparkle asked, her eyes twinkling. She pointed toward a series of snowy hills and icy obstacles. "Today, we're going to race through the Arctic obstacle course. Are you ready?" The reindeer cheered and lined up at the starting line. "Remember to stay agile," Sparkle reminded them. "We need to jump over snowbanks, slide under frozen branches, and dodge snow piles along the way." With a loud "Go!" from Sparkle, the reindeer raced forward. They leapt over snowbanks, ducked under low-hanging branches, and slid around snow-covered rocks. Each obstacle was a new test of their skills, but the reindeer were fast and determined. "Watch out for the ice pond," Sparkle warned. As they approached a large frozen pond, the reindeer had to leap from rock to rock, carefully avoiding slipping. After completing the course, Sparkle praised everyone's speed and agility. "Great job. Kids at home, try your own obstacle course. Set up some safe challenges and see how fast you can go. And remember, don't forget to stretch afterward." The next day, it was time for reindeer flight school. Sparkle gathered the reindeer near the top of a snowy hill, their hooves clicking against the hard ground. "Today is all about flying," Sparkle said. "We need to make sure we're ready to carry Santa's sleigh across the world on Christmas Eve. So let's practice our takeoff." Sparkle leapt into the air, her hooves pushing off the snow with great strength. The other reindeer followed suit, but some of them struggled to get off the ground. "Don't worry," Sparkle called to her friends. "Flying isn't just about strength. It's about timing. You need to feel the wind, jump at the right moment, and trust your instincts." With Sparkle's encouragement, each reindeer tried again, and slowly, one by one, they began to soar into the sky. They practiced circling in the air, banking left and right, and landing softly in the snow. "Great job, everyone!" Sparkle cheered. "Remember, kids, you can practice jumping high to feel what it's like to take off. Pretend you're flying like a reindeer, and maybe you'll have the best takeoff ever." A few days later, Sparkle had another fun activity planned. The Great Snowball Chase. "Who's ready to play?" Sparkle asked, tossing a large snowball into the air. It broke apart into smaller pieces, and Sparkle quickly kicked them in different directions. "You have to catch the snowballs and avoid being hit with them." The reindeer, with their quick reflexes, dashed through the snow, trying to catch the falling snowballs. "Watch out, here comes one," Dasher called, as a snowball zoomed past him. "Get it before it hits you." The reindeer darted around, using their speed and agility to catch as many snowballs as they could. Every time they caught one, they had to toss it to another reindeer, making the game even more exciting. Soon, Sparkle decided it was time to switch things up. "Okay, now we're going to play snowball tag. If you get hit by a snowball, you're it." The reindeer ran and laughed, their eyes sparkling with joy as they chased each other around. Even though it was a game, Sparkle reminded everyone, it's important to stay agile and keep moving fast, just like we do in our workouts. After a fun-filled game, Sparkle gathered everyone around. "Great teamwork, everyone! Now let's relax with a good stretch to cool down," she proclaimed as she began recounting the rounds. With Christmas fast approaching, Sparkle gathered the reindeer for their final training session. "Okay, team, the big night is almost here. Let's make sure we're ready for the holiday magic." Sparkle led the reindeer through a final practice run. They flew through the snowy skies, performing perfect leaps and swoops. "Remember," Sparkle said, "when we work together, we can deliver presents to children all over the world in one night." The reindeer nodded enthusiastically, each knowing their role. From practicing their flight maneuvers to training their hooves to be light and fast, they were ready for anything. Sparkle smiled proudly. "You've all done amazing! And kids at home, you're ready too. With a little imagination and practice, you can fly through any challenge." The end of their training was only the beginning. With hearts full of excitement and paws ready to fly, Sparkle and her team of reindeer were ready for the greatest adventure of all, the magic of Christmas Eve, where their hard work would bring joy to children around the world. And with that, Sparkle looked to the future, knowing that the holiday spirit would continue to inspire and fill the world with light, love, and joy for years to come. Merry Christmas!